Well, Panther fans. It actually happened. God, Jesus. Welcome back, everyone. It's your boy, Carolina Goji, 1954 here. Today, we're here to talk some Panthers, and boy, oh boy, do we got some news to talk about. So, after more than 2 seasons with us and only gifting us 11 wins, David Tepper has had enough, and Matt Rhule has finally been fired. Guys, literally, I woke up a bit early today and I was going to sleep a little more, but I checked my phone because my phone was spammed with notifications, and I decided to check real quick, and what do I see? Matt Rhule has been fired by the Carolina Panthers. I got up as soon as possible after I saw that. Oh man, I'm not gonna lie, I'm actually kind of surprised that this happened because of how late this happened. Like, we're already in week 5 heading into week 6, and I just assumed that David Tepper was just gonna wait until the end of the season to fire Matt Rhule, but it actually happened. Holy shit, David Tepper actually had some balls. Kinda. More into that later. But turns out Matt Rhule isn't the only guy fired. Turns out Phil Snow, our defensive coordinator, has also been fired, who happens to be Matt Rhule's best friend, pretty much. And it turns out the man responsible for firing Phil Snow is actually Steve Wilkes, our new interim head coach, until we find a new head coach in general. Now, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I have no idea what the fuck to expect from this guy. No, but nonetheless, he's already starting to do some good shit by firing Phil Snow, so that's definitely a good sign. But again, I have no idea what to expect from this guy. But as of right now, he's our interim head coach. And I mean, we might not win another game this season, but if we actually, let's just be real here. This might not happen at all, but if he actually brings us to the playoffs, we have to consider having him as our head coach for the future. If he brings us to the playoffs, if not, we just gotta find a new head coach in general. And some interesting things that we gotta keep an eye out for. Seeing Payton was in a podcast or an interview or whatever, and while he was talking about Matt Rhule being fired by the Panthers, he said that the Panthers' job is quote-unquote attractive. And I know many Panther fans are not gonna welcome him into this organization since he was a Saint, a New Orleans Saints, and he was a pain in the ass to deal with back when he was the Saints head coach. But I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I really wouldn't mind seeing Payton becoming our new head coach. I can guarantee you, he can turn this miserable offense into a playoff offense. I can genuinely promise you, he would take this team into the playoffs, regardless of what our roster is right now. But for right now, we just gotta see what Steve Wilkes has in store for us for the rest of this season. And then, later during the day, David Tepper, the Panthers owner, had his own press conference, and boy, did this guy sound so fucking mad. Like, literally, everyone was asking him genuinely good questions, and it seemed that those questions pissed off David Tepper, because everyone was asking like legit good questions, like what went through his mind when he fired Matt Rhule, and what did he say to Steve Wilkes when he got promoted as the interim head coach, and all these other good questions. But David Tepper got so mad. He even got mad at fucking what's his name, Scott Fowler, I believe, because he asked him like what went through his mind when he fired Matt Rhule, and then David Tepper said something like, "Oh, I read all your tweets or your articles or whatever, so you can look at your stuff and you can answer your question with that." He said something like that, but he got extremely salty. David Tepper got extremely fucking salty, and it was kind of ugly to see, honestly. And David Tepper also kept repeating the line, getting over the hump, which kind of sounds pretty sus, but anyways, he just got so mad during this press conference. He was literally talking like he literally built the city of Charlotte brick by brick. Like, he kept saying how there was no music culture, and that he brought music culture into the city of Charlotte by bringing concerts into the Bank of America Stadium, and also how he brought Charlotte FC and all this other shit. He was literally talking like he was the owner of Charlotte, but I don't know, guys. I mean, he just lost his best friend, Matt Rhule, because, I mean, he only hired him because Matt Rhule smelled like shit, talked like shit, and looked like shit. Literally, so. Yeah, I can see why David Tepper is mad, but at the same time, you knew this team was not rebuilding at all. David Tepper's pride was in the way from firing Matt Rhule. The only thing that really did it, that really activated him into firing Matt Rhule, was our game against the 49ers. Literally, the whole stadium was filled with 49er fans. Like, the stadium was filled with red jerseys, and everyone else, the Panther fans, kept like booing at us at Matt Rhule and kept chanting fire Rhule and all this other shit. It just made David Tepper snap, pretty much. That's when he had enough. He's had enough with this guy, so I guess he redeemed himself, kinda. But at the same time, I've already said this before, but I still wouldn't feel too comfortable when Matt Rhule is fired, cause who knows what David Tepper is gonna do next. Maybe he'll bring in someone better. If Steve Wilkes doesn't end up being our guy, who knows? David Tepper might bring in someone better, or he might bring in someone worse. I don't know. I'm just not comfortable just yet. We're not done yet. This is just the start of an actual rebuild for the Carolina Panthers. But there's one last thing to talk about before I end this video. But as you recall, Baker Mayfield did get injured yesterday against the 49ers. He had a high ankle sprain, I believe. And yeah, so it turns out PJ Walker's most likely going to start against the LA Rams this Sunday. So we got to deal with that too. But now with Matt Rhule gone, I know some Panther fans are against this, but now would be a good time to, bring in someone familiar by the name of Cam Newton. I mean, we need someone to back up PJ Walker. So we could do what we did last season when we were about to go against the Cardinals when Darnold got injured and PJ was named the starter. We brought back Cam Newton and had him play a few snaps with PJ Walker against the Cardinals when we beat him. So I'm just saying, would be a good time, a really good time to bring back Ace Boogie, the GOAT, Cam Newton. I'm just saying. Sam Darnold's also going to be missing out a few more weeks. Still hasn't recovered from his injury. So, would be a good time to bring in Cam Newton. But, yeah, that's pretty much all I got to say for this video. So, hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and or subscribe. Y'all have a good night. Panther fans, I know we will. We did not have a good night last night, but this night is different. And as always, everyone, keep pounding.